Would you believe that Katy Perry's latest tour has already generated more than $80 million? And the most surprising part, it's happening while she's being heavily criticized online. It's true. Despite facing constant backlash over her recent music and bold creative choices, Katy Perry is quietly proving that success isn't always about public approval, it's about results. And right now, the results are speaking loudly. Her Lifetime's tour has already sold over 1.1 million tickets, bringing in $80 million from just 45 shows across the United States, Canada, and Australia. Those are massive numbers by any standard. And what's even more impressive is that this is only the early phase of the tour. There are still dozens of shows left across Europe, Latin America, and China, meaning the total revenue is expected to climb significantly higher in the coming months. By the time all 91 shows are completed, this could easily become one of the most profitable tours of her entire career. And that says a lot, considering Katy Perry has been one of the biggest names in pop music for over a decade. But here's where things take an interesting turn. While ticket sales are booming and arenas are packed, the internet has been telling a very different story. Critics have been quick to label her latest album 143 as out of touch, claiming it doesn't connect with today's audience the way her earlier hits once did. Social media, as expected, hasn't held back either. From memes about her choreography to jokes about her space-inspired costumes, the online reaction has been relentless. Some have even questioned whether Perry is trying too hard to reinvent herself in an industry that constantly demands evolution. But if there's one thing Katy Perry has shown throughout her career, it's resilience. Instead of responding defensively or backing down, she's taken a more grounded approach. In her own words, no one can make you believe something about yourself that you don't already believe about yourself. That mindset reveals a lot about how she handles criticism. Rather than letting negativity shape her identity, she focuses on what she knows to be true and, more importantly, on the audience that continues to support her, because at the end of the day, while critics may dominate headlines, it's the fans who decide success. And clearly, her fans are still showing up in huge numbers, filling arenas night after night. The conversation around Katy Perry hasn't been limited to her music alone. Earlier this year, she made headlines for participating in an all-female Blue Origin spaceflight. It was meant to be a groundbreaking and empowering moment, as she joined a small group of high-profile women on a commercial trip to space. Alongside well-known media figures like Gayle King and Lauren Sanchez, the mission was designed to inspire and push boundaries. However, not everyone saw it that way. Critics quickly labeled the trip as tone-deaf and out of touch, especially during a time when many people are facing economic challenges. Social media debates erupted, with some questioning whether such displays of wealth and privilege were appropriate. Once again, Perry found herself at the center of a cultural conversation, one that extended far beyond music. And then there's her personal life, which has also been under intense public scrutiny. In 2025, Perry and Orlando Bloom officially confirmed their breakup after 9 years together. For fans who had followed their relationship for nearly a decade, the news came as a shock. The couple had often been seen as one of Hollywood's more stable and enduring partnerships. Naturally, the media attention that followed was overwhelming. Every appearance, every public outing, and every social media post became a topic of speculation. Shortly after the breakup, rumors began circulating about Perry spending time with former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. While the headlines generated plenty of buzz, sources later suggested that nothing serious developed, largely due to their demanding schedules. But beyond the headlines, rumors, and online commentary, there's a much bigger picture that often gets overlooked, and that's Katy Perry's financial empire. Because while public opinion may shift from moment to moment, numbers don't lie. Perry currently has an estimated net worth of around $350 million. Over the course of her career, she has sold more than 151 million records worldwide, making her one of the best-selling music artists of all time. These aren't just impressive figures, they represent years of consistent success, strategic decisions, and an ability to stay relevant in an industry that's constantly changing. At multiple points in her career, she has been named the highest-paid female musician in the world. And not just once, twice. That level of financial dominance is incredibly rare, especially in a competitive industry like music. It speaks to her ability not only to create hits but also to build a brand that extends far beyond music itself. In fact, during the 2010s, she was ranked by Forbes as the 9th highest-earning musician of the entire decade, with total earnings reaching an astonishing $530 million. That's more than $500 million earned in just 10 years. When you look at numbers like that, it becomes clear that Katy Perry isn't just a pop star, she's a business powerhouse, and that brings us back to the present moment. Because despite all the criticism, all the jokes, and all the online debates, Perry continues to do what she has always done: perform, evolve, and most importantly, deliver results. The Lifetime's tour is proof that her connection with fans is still very much alive. People are still buying tickets, still singing along, and still showing up to experience her performances in person. It's a reminder that there's often a disconnect between online perception and real-world success. What trends on social media doesn't always reflect what's happening in reality. And in reality, Katy Perry is still filling arenas and generating millions. In many ways, her current situation highlights a larger truth about fame in the modern era. Today, artists are judged not just by their work, but by their image, their choices, and even their personal lives. Every move is analyzed, criticized, and turned into content. But surviving in that environment requires more than just talent. It requires mental strength, self-belief, and the ability to stay focused amid constant noise, and that's exactly what Perry seems to be doing. Instead of chasing validation, she's staying committed to her vision. Instead of reacting to every headline, she's letting her work speak for itself. Of course, that doesn't mean the criticism is entirely meaningless. Public feedback has always played a role in shaping an artist's career. But what sets successful artists apart is how they respond to it. Some retreat. Others adapt. And then there are those, like Katy Perry, who use it as fuel, because in the end, controversy can generate attention, but it's consistency that builds a legacy. And Perry's career, spanning over a decade of global success, is a testament to that. So while the internet continues to debate her music, her outfits, and her decisions, the bigger story is unfolding elsewhere, in sold-out arenas, rising tour revenues, and a fanbase that continues to support her regardless of the noise. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Success isn't always about being universally loved. Sometimes, it's about staying true to yourself, showing up consistently, and delivering value to the people who matter most, because at the end of the day, while critics write reviews and social media creates trends, Katy Perry is doing something far more important. She's building momentum, sustaining her brand, and turning every challenge into an opportunity. So whether people are praising her or criticizing her, one thing remains clear. Katy Perry isn't slowing down. If anything, she's proving that even in the face of constant scrutiny, success is still very much within her control, and she knows exactly how to capitalize on it.